I'm Michael Sanders. I'm the lead producer and the public relations guy for Team Dystopia, Red Storm, who did all the Tom Clancy series. That's the studio that I'm currently at right now. Primarily, a lot of modders now seem to have gotten a lot of inspiration from natural selection, and I wouldn't say I'm large into the natural selection community, but I did do work, I guess, for natural selection radio for a very long time. So I did a lot. I got really into the natural selection community and started helping out with their community to do little things here and there, and primarily shoutcast stuff through NS Radio. And I slowly learned that I was having more fun, with this modification than I was, games that I paid $50 or $60 for, and it just really interested me. How it changed, how it changed the game and made it, better was always interesting. But making a game ground up using another engine is always so interesting to me, because you're essentially giving the rights to the players to make their own game. And from the natural selection community, I moved on to Dystopia. The developers really based it off of all the William Gibson and the Neil Stephenson books, all the different cyberpunk lore and literature and past movies. So they set out to kind of really touch and set that cyberpunk and dystopian feel that the books and the media actually gave it. The first generation of developers, which was Fuzzy, Teddy, Termy, Caliban, and a lot of Australian guys. I mean, the first set of developers were heavily Australian oriented, and they chose Source really, I'd say, based on its technical benefits and what it lined up, or how it lined up with them for what they'd want Dystopia to be, for what they wanted it to be. And I'd say it was a good choice for what they wanted really Dystopia to be. We use a Source development kit just like any Source engine developer, but we do use a lot of different other 3D programs. We've messed with Blender before. A popular one right now with the team is Luxology Modo, which is a kind of a new and upcoming 3D modeler, and it's a lot of fun for people. It's a lot easier to get into, and of course there's 3D Studio Max and Maya. We have this saying that IRC is the office, and Ventrilo is our meeting room. So obviously, our primary method of communication is IRC, and that's great because we can use it as a chat method. But not only that, it's like a bulletin board thing. You go on there, you leave a private message, and people will get it later on. So that's the main method. And then when we need to actually convey information using our voices, we use Ventrilo, and it's been interesting, to see people kind of really adapt to using those methods, opposed to something like AOL Instant Messenger or MSN. So and it's proven a lot easier for us because we can all be there at one point, and just talk and get stuff done and have stuff uploaded. We've been featured in a number of magazines. I think PC Gamer had an article on Dystopia, a couple of European ones, but that was primarily with the first release of Dystopia, since it was so it was widely received. And so because of that, we've been on different sites like 1UP and Kotaku and Slash.games, things like that. But primarily, it's been getting a list of all the community websites together. So in our case, Half-Life Fallout and Planet Half-Life and Half-Life 2 and Half-Life2.net and HL2 World and Half-Life Files and Edit Life and all these different community sites, getting them together and saying, I'm going to start giving you news. it's been pretty. There's been large obstacles to overcome with testing, and it's a huge value to any developer now. It's really important that you have good testers who can give constructive and non-insulting feedback to the developers, and you got to make sure that they're on board as much as you are. Make sure that you have a good lead play tester and someone who actually knows something. And professional testers can help a lot in that instance. So, for instance, I came on and we obviously already had a tool for getting the builds to the playtesters, which made it a lot easier. We use an internal tool, which a lot of modifications in, for instance, Natural Selection did. We use Mantis. It's a bug tracker. So I came in, and I adopted a lot of different stratagems that I learned from different studios around Raleigh into that. So I went in and added all these custom fields to testing, and all these different things. And then I kind of made a template for people posting a bug and saying, this field's for this. This is why we look at it. As far as the current development of the project goes, we're really happy with a recent announcement of making Steamworks. Valve actually is allowing us the opportunity to release our mod through Steamworks, much like other mods, some other mods that have already done so. And I applaud any mod who can get that opportunity. I've said this, a million times. It doesn't matter if you're, a mod that changes a couple of weapons in Half-Life 2, or just a unit in Diablo, or some other, like Command and Conquer Generals or something like that, to change a couple of units. If you can get a chance like that, it doesn't matter what the quality is. You've given yourself a chance to show that mods are, more. They're more than what they really are to the general public. They're something that a player has made because they really wanted to see it this way. So they set out and did it, and that's kind of like a life lesson right there. If you really want something, work for it and do it, and that is an honest to God example with how the mod scene works. So all in all, just yeah.